My name is Colin McGraw, and I am a secondary English Ed major at Indiana University, and this is my literacy history. When I think about my earliest experiences of learning to read, my grandma always comes to mind. I remember my parents always dropping me off at her house before work during the summer before kindergarten. She had a closet full of books that I always found myself in. It was a new world to me. She noticed my interest in reading and began taking me to the local library twice a week. I would go through the rows of books and pick out 5 at a time. Once we returned home, I would sit in her recliner and we would work through the books I checked out. I still remember the first book I learned to read, Fall Leaves Fall. I returned home to my house after reading the book aloud to my grandma at least 50 times and recited the book to my parents. My reading taste in my younger years revolved around Junie B. Jones, The Series of Unfortunate Events, and The Boxcar Children. Soon, these picture books turned into chapter books, and as the years passed on, I was finally able to successfully read the books in our closet. My love for reading has only increased over the years, and reading has become an everyday part of my life. I have my grandma to thank for letting me develop my interest in reading and help me learn it along the way. One of the greatest things that's changed about myself as a reader would be my taste in books, which now includes books such as Jane Eyre and Looking for Alaska. Also, with being an English Ed major, reading takes on a new meaning. This means that reading does not just serve as a leisurely activity anymore, but it is something that is necessary for me to be successful and required for me to do day in and day out. So therefore, I would say that I take on different roles as a reader depending on the situation I'm in, and I've come to appreciate this contrast over the years. Writing was a little different for me. From as young as I can remember, writing held a huge importance in my life. As soon as I could string together letters to make sense to me, I was writing stories about princesses and dragons. My friends and I got together and I always made them help me create books. I would look forward to the weekends because it would be my favorite time as a kid to sit down and work on writing a book. I was constantly having my parents or friends look at stories I had written, and I've probably began writing at least 20 different books, or whatever they should be called, that I never actually finished. Writing was always so fun to me because I could make up whatever I wanted and put it on a page, and no one could tell me that I couldn't. Writing definitely holds a great significance of my childhood and adolescence. I fostered this interest all the way through high school. Although my enjoyment in creative writing has declined over the years, I enjoy other types of writing such as analytical writing. Writing used to be my favorite hobby, and that hasn't really changed, coming from a 20-year-old who still journals every day. I feel like writing is one of the best ways to work through something or express oneself, and that's why it's so important to me. I think the only way that my writing has changed is my own personal style, which has been shaped by my various teachers throughout the years. I feel like each professor or teacher I've encountered has helped me improve my writing in some way or another. Specifically, my 11th and 12th grade English teacher had the greatest impact on my writing. He was not afraid to critique my works and spent the year working with each student to help them develop their own writing style. He also allowed us to write on subjects that held importance to the students. Being able to write about topics that one is passionate about truly helps in not only becoming a better writer, but also enjoying writing more itself. When I approach reading and writing today, it honestly just varies depending on the reasoning behind the assignment. But I think that's the best part of this journey. I've been exposed to such a variation of reading and writing that it holds different meanings to me, and I have the ability to have confidence in whichever way I choose to approach them. This would not have been possible, though, without the influential people in my life who has always pushed me to do my best and encouraged me along the way. My grandma and my high school English teacher aren't the only ones who have influenced my reading and writing journey, but they are people who have truly impacted my life and led me to one day want to teach these subjects. I think it is important to realize that everyone comes from different backgrounds, and literacy means something completely different to each individual. For me today, the literacy journey I've had has encouraged me to pursue a career involving reading and writing, and it also showed me its importance in my everyday life. When I'm in my own classroom, I hope to support my students as they find their own way with reading and writing. I also aspire to show them their importance and the significance it can have in one's life like it has had in mine.